An early winter's morning start for the Oven Fresh Biscuits 500. Round 4 of the SA Off-Road Championship presented by ABSA. The atmosphere was tense as crews prepared for a grueling, dusty, high-speed trek through the bush.
Yeah, definitely. That is why we went a little bit fast yesterday, because we knew if there's not going to be wind and it's very dry out here, it's going to be very, very dusty and the dust is going to hang. So it's definitely an advantage to be in the front. Strategy will play off the cuff in the race, but at the moment we're going to just put up a good pace, try and stay in the front, and then at the halfway mark we'll see how far the guys are behind us if nobody's in front of us.
Proper hydration plays an important role in off-road racing.
It's very important. The first part of the stage you don't really feel, you're not really thirsty, but it's important to keep on drinking, because towards the end you'll feel fatigued, and then when you're thirsty it's actually too late, so you've got to keep on drinking throughout the whole stage.
Correct race strategy is a vital component of the sport.
I think it's going to be a bit of a waiting game. I think if the person really tries to push too hard early in the morning in the dust, he could come unstuck with the rocks and everything. So I think we have to play a bit of a waiting game. Maybe wait until we get into the bad rocks. I believe there's a lot of bad rocks. Maybe wait till we get into there and just make sure we don't make any mistakes and no punches, and make sure we don't get out of the car all day, and I think we'll be fine.
While the production vehicles have dominated the scene in recent years, the Special Vehicle Brigade are intent on ending this domination.
Oh, well, we've had pole every race this year, barring Sugar Beltman had a seeded draw. The cars are very fast. We need to turn this into wins now. I think today's going to be exciting. We're starting on the same second as the Duplessis brothers, so I think it's going to be quite good into the first corner. But I think we both keep it level-headed about it. So I'm looking forward to the day. It should be good for us. It's about time we had a win.
Mafikeng narrowly missed winning the event last year and dearly wanted to add another win to his growing tally of victories.
Very fast cars in front of us and very competitive drivers. We just have to wait for something to happen to their car. So in a good position, in a good slot, if a wrong slot we might make up, but we have a very good chance. Car's strong and we feel good about the race.
A win for the Duplessis husband and wife crew would be an historic first in local off-road racing.
Ons gaan weer goed proberen, want we vrou ry 'n jaar saam. Ons is 'n bietjie teruggeval met die wegtrek, maar ek dink dit gaan baie stowwerig wees en ons gaan net probeer 'n goeie pas hou. En dan hoop vir die beste. Dit sal gaaf wees vir my vrou en vir ons, want sy ondersteun my baie in die sport en dit is nou 3 jaar om saam te ry. So ek dink dit sal 'n goeie ondervinding vir haar ook wees as dit kan regkry.
The irrepressible Cox was in a confident mood.
Yeah, after the disastrous desert race, I've got my navigator back again. Henny's back in the passenger seat, and I know the limit of the pickup. I found it out at the desert race, so I'm very happy. I mean, to win the class, let's just show the boys that we can do it. Our 4th race into the year, and I know we're going to but off-road racing, I've got to save the pickup today, and it's a long way. But I'm happy to start where I am and right near the front, and we only lost, I think, 3 minutes on the leaders yesterday. So that's a good place to start, especially with the dust this morning. And we're going to give it our best shot today.
Zane Pierce's performance was a turn-up for the books.
Yeah, I think we're very happy with what we achieved yesterday in the prologue. We were looking to do well. We've had 2 races now, got a bit more experience, and the vehicle went very well as well. So a good day for us so far.
The pressure was on for the reigning Class B champions.
Obviously, with the new sponsors on board, we need to deliver. So the pressure's on a little bit. We've got the usual suspects behind us, which is going to make it interesting. But we're a lot further forward than we were expecting. I think there were a couple of guys who got lost in the time trial, so it's going to be interesting with a lot of guys coming from the back today.
Much of the terrain for the Oven Fresh Biscuits 500 was flat, with a mountainous section at the top end of the loop, which could prove to be the undoing of many teams. Grobler and Leek led the field away as they had done on many occasions during the past 2 years. Pundits predicted they would not be able to extend their record-breaking run of 6 consecutive wins. De Villiers and Jordan started 42 seconds later and had the advantage of a slight dust gap on their proudly South African Nissan teammates. The next 7 vehicles would start less than a minute apart, and their visibility and overtaking problems were about to begin. recent Sugar Belt 400 winners, Mundell and Bond, led the special vehicle field away in their prolonged bat and were followed by Harkes and Berthold, who started on the same time as the Duplessis couple. Reinach and Harton in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser started just over 2 minutes behind the leaders.
200 meters, 90 left, and stop at road crossing. 100, 90 left, stop at road crossing.
On board with a rather relaxed-looking Hannes Grobler.
It's actually a left-right to a stop. Turn left over railway line and go straight. Stop here. Go. And go straight.
Grobler and Leek had a huge advantage over the rest of the field and steadily increased their lead over teammates de Villiers and Jordan. Former production vehicle champions Woolwich and Schulthammer had to settle for third in the 3,4-litre V6-powered Team Ford Racing Ranger. There wasn't even the slightest breeze to help clear the dust, and anyone who took unnecessary risks was headed for early retirement from the race. Force and Griffith held down 4th place in the proudly South African Nissan and were closely followed by special vehicle category leaders Mundell and Bond, who had Harkes and Berthold desperately trying to close the gap in the hope of gaining the lead. Mafikeng and Stangl had already gained a place by overtaking Gerard and Kirby Duplessis, who had decided to let the leading back entries and Mafikeng fight it out until visibility improved. Reinach and Harton were in the thick of things in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser.
Where are you going to go? Left? Yes, top right. Slick the sprint. Where? By I see it on the back. By I see it on the back.
They were unable to make an impression on the leaders in this early stage in the race. The popular Jojo Tank's VW Beetle, which will soon be replaced by a new vehicle, was 10th. It hasn't been a good year for the Nashua Mobile Racing Squad. Greg Dowse withdrew from the race with gearbox problems, and Terence Marsh and Trevor Eyre got lost in the prologue. They completed over 80 kilometres instead of 42 kilometres and started 61st. A similar fate befell Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin in the Castrol Toyota Hilux, who started 60th. Gareth Walk in the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Mighty Mag also got lost on Friday and started 59th. Back to the main event with aerial visuals courtesy of the Kopanong Hotel Medical Rescue Helicopter. There was just no catching the high-flying Nissan of Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek. The championship leading pair had opened up a 2-minute lead after 90 minutes of racing and were seemingly invincible. De Villiers and Jordan were second overall in the proudly South African Nissan hardbody. They had only managed to finish one race this year, and that was the Toyota 1000, where they came from behind after an horrific head-on collision with a spectator vehicle soon after the start of day 2, to finish second overall behind their teammates. Woolridge and Schulthammer were 3 minutes behind de Villiers and Jordan. The Team Ford Racing Ranger didn't seem to have the pace of the front-running Nissans, but it was later explained that the roof air vents had popped open for some strange reason, and dust in the cockpit proved to be a major problem for driver and co-driver. Harkus and Berthold had grabbed the special vehicle category lead when Mandel and Bond picked up a puncture on the prolonged bat, but they trailed overall leaders Grobler and Leek by over 27 minutes. Voss and Griffith had dropped a place to the Bat Racing crew, and the proudly South African Nissan hardbody sounded decidedly sick. Castrol Toyota stalwarts R.P. Reinecker and Robin Harton had no answer for the Nissan barrage and had to be satisfied with 5th overall. They last won a race at the start of the 2002 season and desperately needed a strong finish. Mafikeng and Stangl tend to be slow but consistent starters and then pick up their pace in the closing stages of the race. This strategy seemed to be paying off, and they were 2nd overall in the special vehicle category, just over a minute ahead of arch rival Gerard du Plessis and wife Corby, who were having gear selection problems on the Liebherr Jimco. Yucky Joubert was having a good run in the Jojo Tank's VW Beetle, but it would be short-lived. The drivetrain failed before the midway service point, and they were relegated to being spectators for the rest of the Oven Fresh Biscuits 500. Sheer consistency has paid off handsomely for Scott Abraham and Richard Carolyn in the Atlas Copco Chicago pneumatic Jeep. The pair, with Carolyn behind the wheel on the first lap, had moved up to 10th overall, but was under pressure from Class D leaders Alfie Cox and Henny ter Steger in the Arnold Schatz car's Nissan hardbody. Tosca farmers, Piet Haasbroek and Freddie Schippers in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser were on familiar terrain and within sight of the class-leading Nissan, while Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane had matters under control in Class B. Zane Pearce and Henny Vosloo in the high-Q Ford Ranger had a slender lead in Class E and were being chased by Hein Mullman and Cecil Fincham in the aging Toyota Hilux. Kasi Kutsia and Oki Fari weren't far behind in the factory-prepared Castrol Toyota Hilux KZTE. The leading Nissans didn't stop at the midway service point, but Woolridge and Scholthammer had to make an unscheduled pit stop to have the roof air vents taped closed. There was frantic activity in the Bat Racing pit, with Harkus and Berthold changing places behind the wheel.